Well, hey there, folks. I'm Fox 10 News meteorologist Matt Barrentine, the Fox 10 News Now Weather Center, getting everything set up as we are obviously keeping an eye on Fred. It is a very poorly organized system, to say the least, here for us this morning. So we are looking at the system right here. It's where that red L is. Now, if I didn't have that red L up there, you probably have a hard time figuring out exactly where the system is because it's very poorly organized. What happened is it ran over the mountains here of the Dominican Republic and Haiti, and it completely fell apart. But there's just enough left at the low-level center that we think is going to eventually regenerate itself and become a tropical storm once again, but not for a while. Right now, it is just a tropical depression. That's it. So it's a very weak system, and it's going to be weak probably most of the day today because it's right on top of Cuba, essentially. So it's going to be struggling here as it goes through the day today. It's going to work its way past Cuba. Then eventually, as it pulls away from Cuba sometime tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening, then it's likely to begin to start to get itself back together again and become a tropical storm. And then it's going to work its way into the eastern Gulf. As it does so, it will slightly strengthen. It doesn't look like this is going to have the opportunity to become a huge, big hurricane or anything like that. Most of the modeling suggests sort of a middle-of-the-road tropical storm. Fairly confident in that. What I'm less confident in is exactly where it's going to go, and there's some issues there which I will get to here in a second. First off, these are the models. I don't like to usually use the spaghetti models because they can be awfully confusing, but I'm using them because they are awfully confusing. It is what it is. We're looking at a storm that's going to work its way northwest, and after that, you can see how squiggly these lines start getting. And the reason for that is it looks like it's going to be slowing down, especially as it gets into the northern Gulf. I mean, you can see some of these lines really doing some dips and turns, even some loops. And you can see how the spread, I mean, this goes from Jacksonville for some of them all the way over to the Florida-Alabama line. That's, 6 hours of driving there on I-10. So it's a huge spread. It means the models don't have a really good handle on exactly where this is going to go. And it could very easily end up in our neighborhood, or at least close to our neighborhood, as we go into the early part of next week, say Monday. It looks like to be the best chance. But it could still be working its way down along the coast, even on Tuesday, if it's going slow enough, and that's a possibility. So there's a lot of uncertainties with exactly where it's going to end up, okay? It looks like for the most part, the most likely scenario is that it does end up a bit east of us. And if it does, that puts us on the good side of the storm. And when we're talking about a mid-range tropical storm, you're not talking about a big concern or a big issue. But, a little shift to the west by a few miles will have an impact in our area. So just something to keep in mind. It's something to definitely watch out for. Concern level isn't high, but you definitely need to keep an eye on it, especially if you're along the coastline. You're in an area that can flood pretty easily, or you're in an area that's sort of exposed. You may want to really keep a close eye on this, or if you have to work in some of these areas that could impact your working schedule. All right, so the issues that this thing is going to face right now, the reason why it's staying weak today and most of tomorrow is because of Cuba. It's going to basically be on land. And then it's going to be dealing with some wind shear here. This is why I say we're more confident in the forecast of its strength than we are where it's actually going to end up. This upper level low is going to also help to keep it from getting all that strong. I think like I said, like the Hurricane Center has, it will be able to gain some strength, like I said, get to the middle of the road tropical storm, but rapid intensification in this kind of environment is not likely at all. So the main thing, like I said, is got to watch out. There's a very wide spread. This is actually the latest track from the Hurricane Center, and they didn't really change it a whole lot over the last few hours. It still stretches from Mobile to Jacksonville. The center line, they still have it over here. That's Apalachicola is right there. St. George Island is right here. They had it about 10 miles further east on the last one. So they've shifted a little bit to the west, but not much. They're not going with that full Panama City spread like we saw in some of the models. So they're not going quite that far west with it yet. That could change. Certainly want to keep up to date here throughout the day. Meteorologist Jennifer Lampers will be in later giving you the updates on the afternoon updates from the National Hurricane Center. I know since I have time on these Facebook Lives, I'll give you we'll take a look at some of the modeling here with the details so you can see a little better. And so here's the American model. They're called the GFS, if I can get it to work. There it goes. And taking us to noon Saturday, that's Key West, there's Cuba. So it has it coming off near Havana in Cuba, and then working its way into the western Gulf. That's pretty near Tampa, on noontime on Sunday. Then watch what happens. This is where things get squirrely. It starts to really slow down. Here's Apalachicola is right about here, and there's the center of the storm just south of that point. And then watch what happens. It kind of works its way westward. Noon on Monday, noon on Tuesday. Not very far over 24 hours. So it just shows it's slowing down, and that's when things get really difficult with forecasting where these things will go. When they slow down like that, that means there's nothing pushing it around. There's nothing steering it, and they'll kind of bobble around, and it gets really hard to forecast. But you also do notice that it doesn't look very impressive there, and it's not. It shows it being a very weak system. So if we're going to get one, if it's going to do that for us, at least it looks like it's going to be weak. Here's the European model. So I showed you the GFS. This is the European. These are our two best models. Now the American model had it farther to the west here at noon on Saturday. This one has it more in the middle of the Keys around Marathon. And it brings it more up the west coast of Florida, right up around Tampa at noontime on Sunday. And then here we are Monday around midnight, showing it trying to make a landfall all the way over around Cedar Key. And let me go and go a little bit farther, and then that drags it on inland. So this one keeps it basically completely away from us. If it makes landfall over here in Appalachia Bay, we get next to nothing out of this system. It'll be too far to the east. So there's a lot of different scenarios there. So basically stay tuned, pay attention, and we'll let you know exactly what's happening with Fred. Let me give you a quick update here on what we're actually experiencing currently. There's a number of showers and storms rocking and rolling here for us across the Gulf Coast. By the way, for everybody that's joining here on our Facebook page or YouTube, appreciate that. Here's Mobile, Bayway, a lot of lightning and thunder. It is seeing a lot of darker blues here on the lightning strikes. That means some of those are older lightning strikes, and that usually means the storm is beginning to calm down at least a little bit, but still some heavy rain across a good bit of Mobile right now. Lighter to moderate rain across West Mobile and Tillman's Corner. And man, it has been raining all morning long on Dolphin Island. They've really been getting a lot of rain. Bayou La Batre been getting a lot of rain. Pascagoula, Fort Morgan's been getting a lot of rain so far this morning. And over into the Florida Panhandle, down Pensacola Beach, Portofino, over towards Mary Esther, all getting some rain here at the moment. So that's going to continue. We're going to have a number of showers and storms around throughout the day. You can see these here bubbling up. That's noontime. I'll show you about 2. A number of showers and storms scattered about. And that continues on to the late afternoon. Things begin to quiet down. So it looks like most of our action today will be, now in the morning, going through about midday. Then we get to later in the afternoon. I think things will begin to wind on down. So here's your forecast. I mean, it's it's the same old day after day. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, basically the forecast is the same. Low 90s. There's going to be scattered showers and storms around, a good likelihood that you'll run into them, but none of these days will you get rain all day. Where there's going to be some issues in the forecast is exactly obviously what happens with Fred. And Fred will change our forecast going down into Monday and Tuesday. Right now, I'm just going middle of the road 40% because I just don't know what it's going to do yet. Nobody does. But obviously, if it comes closer to us, those rain chances will go up. If it stays to the east of us, though, I mean, we could drop those rain chances off completely Monday and Tuesday just about. It may drop down to 10 or 20% chance of rain. If it goes off enough to the east of us, then we'll get north winds. That'll help dry us out a little bit. So that's a possibility, too. So we'll be keeping a close eye on it for you here at Fox 10. So we'll have more updates here on Facebook. We'll have Fox 10 News at 4 p.m. with Jennifer Lambers. Our 5 p.m. we don't have today because Field of Dreams is actually happening. If you're a baseball fan, you're going to want to check that out. Pretty neat situation there. And, of course, then we'll be back on tonight on Fox 10 News at 9 p.m. And I'll be back here tomorrow morning on Fox 10 News all throughout the morning and through the weekend here as well. So we'll keep you updated, let you know what's going on here with Fred and, of course, with just your typical weather. Have yourselves a great day. We'll catch up with you soon. Everybody that joined, I do appreciate it. Have a good one.